Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. A ton of buzz, a ton of noise regarding the Oregon Ducks in the quarterback room heading into 2024. Obviously, starting out with Dillon Gabriel, the former Oklahoma quarterback, committing to the Ducks this weekend. And you fast forward to today, a lot of buzz and a lot of noise about Dante Moore potentially winding up as an Oregon Duck heading into 2024 as well. Scheduled to take a visit to the Ducks this weekend. Really excited to get into this one. Many of you guys know my takes on Dillon Gabriel. We'll get into that a little bit more as well. And then Dante Moore, a guy that as a true freshman struggled at times, but you can't deny the arm talent and ceiling that Dante Moore can bring to this Oregon Ducks program. Excited to get into this one. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys and a special shout out to the Oregon Duck fans. This is a program that I've obviously loved talking about throughout the 2023 season on the recruiting trail, in the transfer portal. But more importantly, the amount of support you guys show the boys, it's absolutely amazing. If y'all do enjoy the content, enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. And more importantly, would love to hear your guys' takes on this quarterback room. We got on Talk Dillon Gabriel on Saturday morning, and had a lot of good discussion with you guys in terms of Dillon Gabriel and the potential ceiling that he has as a college football quarterback. And some of y'all didn't agree with me. That is what college football is about. We had great conversation. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section. And without further ado, let's get into this one. And let's dig a little deeper into Dillon Gabriel first, and then we'll get into Dante Moore. A lot of the concern regarding Dillon Gabriel, or the lack of enthusiasm that I had. I mean, my take on Dillon Gabriel is you're looking at one of the most productive, experienced quarterbacks across the entire country, leading this Oregon Ducks team into the Big Ten. To me, that makes a lot of sense. And I also like the fit in terms of the Will Stein offense. It's an offense that's catered to quarterbacks, and you need a quarterback that's going to be able to play within the offense and run the offense. And I think Dillon Gabriel has proven the ability to do that. Now, the knock on Dillon Gabriel that some of you guys had in the comment section was, what's the ceiling that Dillon Gabriel has? And I would agree. I mean, I think the ceiling, there's a reason. Let's start with this. There's a reason Dillon Gabriel is coming back for a 6th year of college football and not going to the NFL, because he doesn't have that NFL upside in terms of the size, in terms of the arm talent. The arm talent is not bad. You don't have bad arm talent and throw for 14,000 yards as a Division I FBS quarterback. That being said, it's not special. It's not necessarily to that NFL caliber. So that's why he's coming back for another year at the college football level. And I get those concerns. At the end of the day, though, you look at Dillon Gabriel and kind of the proof's in the pudding. Like, this guy's a good decision maker. He's really, really accurate. He gets the ball out on time and accurately, especially working over the middle of the field, those short and intermediate route trees. So you look at Dillon Gabriel in this Oregon offense, I think it's going to be a good fit. Dillon Gabriel is a really good quarterback when he has the talent around him and he's working in a system that is going to let him be a point guard and distributor. I think that's exactly what this Oregon offense is. Now, does he have the upside and the playmaking ability of a guy like Bo Nix? No, and that's why he's coming back for a 6th year. But in terms of heading into the Big Ten, you want a quarterback that's experienced, that's seen a lot, and that's exactly what Dillon Gabriel has. And you look at the Big Ten and the landscape of the Big Ten as a Big Ten guy wearing my Nebraska quarter zip right now, I don't know if there's a quarterback I'm taking over Dillon Gabriel. If J.J. McCarthy ends up going to the NFL draft, there is a very good argument to be made that Dillon Gabriel is the best quarterback in the Big Ten heading into the 2024 year. And you look at the NFL upside, and I think my argument to that would be, you've seen a lot of really good college football quarterbacks not necessarily fit the bill and have that NFL potential, right? Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow. Am I necessarily saying that Dillon Gabriel is Johnny Manziel? Is he a Tim Tebow? No, I'm not necessarily saying that, but you've seen a lot of really good college quarterbacks play at an extremely high level and not be those NFL kind of guys. So I look at Dillon Gabriel, and I'm really excited about the fit that he's going to have in Oregon, especially the timing of it, moving to the Big Ten, where you're trying to find some consistency. And I think one of the arguments was Ty Thompson. He's really experienced in the offense. He's waited his turn, and I feel for Ty Thompson. You know, I'm sure many Oregon fans listening to this, including myself, is looking at Ty Thompson saying, wherever he lands, I'm going to be his biggest fan, because he waited his turn and he just never really got a shot at Oregon. And if you wanted to see Ty Thompson, I understand it. But what I would think is, Dan Lanning and this coaching staff saw Ty Thompson a heck of a lot more than us in practice. And if they're going to the transfer portal to add a guy like Dillon Gabriel, what does that say about Ty Thompson and his development? Dan Lanning and this coaching staff probably think he wasn't ready, especially as a guy heading into the Big Ten. So you go out and get a very experienced quarterback in Dillon Gabriel. You feel for Ty Thompson, who waited his turn, and you hope he finds success at his next program. Now, I want to get to Dante Moore. And now the first thing I'm going to say with Dante Moore is do not write him off because he had a rocky true freshman year. And how rare it is to see true freshman quarterback come in and have a ton of success. When you look at the class that he came in with, right? Dante Moore was largely considered arguably the best quarterback in that 2023 class. You see the ranking top 5 national prospect, one of the best quarterbacks coming out of that 2023 class. The other guys he came in with, Arch Manning was a reserve for Texas. Nico was a reserve for Tennessee. Jackson Arnold, a reserve for Oklahoma. You didn't see any true freshmen get thrusted into the fire and have to fend for themselves. Dante Moore did. And you look at Dante Moore's time at UCLA, yes, the numbers in the film, it's rocky. You saw him lock on the receivers, make bad decisions. He only completed 53% of his balls, threw 9 interceptions to only 11 touchdowns and only 1,600 yards. Part of the narrative that I think most people need to remind themselves is not only was Dante Moore a true freshman, where it is extremely rare to see true freshmen come in and excel at the college football level in that first year. The only guy I can think of is Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, and he was kind of a generational quarterback talent. The next thing is that UCLA offense kind of stunk, especially up front. So you're a quarterback that the game is going a lot faster than it was at the high school level. And then you combine it with an offensive line that just could not protect him. Looking at some of the numbers, 10.1% sack rate for UCLA quarterbacks. That was 121st. They gave up 153 pressures, and then they didn't have a run game. Only 4.2 yards per carry. That's 67th. You compare that to what the Oregon Ducks were this last year, a 1.1% sack rate. That was number 1 in the country. They only gave up 44 pressures. That is a third of the pressures that UCLA's offensive line gave up. And they obviously ran the ball extremely well, 5.5 yards per carry, top 5 in the country. You look at Dante Moore and the potential success he could have in this Oregon offense with a run game and an offensive line that's going to give him protection. I think the numbers, if Dante Moore played as a true freshman for the Oregon Ducks, would look a heck of a lot different than the numbers that he had as a first-year quarterback at UCLA. So you look at Dante Moore, I think a lot of people are so quick to write him off in terms of he's a bust after not having a good true freshman year. I'll say this, the reason why so many programs are in on Dante Moore is because that arm talent, it's special. And I would even go as far as saying, I don't think it's crazy to think Dante Moore and Dillon Gabriel, if Dante Moore ends up at Oregon, have a competition to be the quarterback one. And I think the what you're thinking first is, yeah, Dillon Gabriel is going to be the starter. I think Dante Moore is a guy that gets into that program, and with all the arm talent that he has, could certainly push Dillon Gabriel. But at the end of the day, you look at this Oregon program and the trajectory and the future of this program, this would be a massive addition. Because even if Dillon Gabriel is the starter, Dante Moore has been very vocal about, yeah, I probably tried to find a little too much playing time as a true freshman. And now as he hits the portal and starts this recruitment process kind of all over again, he says, I need a place where I can go get developed. One, you look at this Oregon program, the very strong track record in developing a guy like Bo Nix, who came in from Auburn, and very similar conversation to Dante Moore, super talented guy, didn't have a ton of help at Auburn, and didn't put up great numbers at Auburn. And a lot of people wrote him off. And he goes to Oregon and has 2 phenomenal years, some of the best college football play that we've seen at the quarterback position the last 2 years. I think you could see a very similar trajectory for Dante Moore, who people are writing him off after a rocky first year. He comes to Oregon, plays within that offense with all the talent around him, an offensive line, a run game, a ton of really good wide receivers, and say, this is probably a similar story than we saw with Bo Nix, where people are writing him off because he was at an offense that stunk, that didn't have protection, that didn't have wide receivers for him to go to. Dante Moore now coming into Oregon and saying, this could look like a completely different Dante Moore. So I guess the conversation is Dante Moore would be a massive addition to this Oregon team. And you look at, that's a great problem to have. You have 2 starting caliber quarterbacks in your quarterback room heading to the Big Ten, one of which is a really, really experienced, productive quarterback in Dillon Gabriel, and one of which is a high ceiling quarterback in Dante Moore, who still needs some development. And even if Dillon Gabriel does end up playing in 2024, the floor is so high. Like, you're going to get good quarterback play from a guy like Dillon Gabriel in that first year in the Big Ten. And the ceiling for Dante Moore in terms of getting another year under his belt, operating in a quarterback-friendly offense, Dante Moore could truly be a special quarterback in this Oregon offense. Really excited to see if this comes to fruition. Obviously, the visit is coming up this weekend. Wanted to hop on, give you guys my thoughts, and kind of clear up some of the conversations that we had regarding Dillon Gabriel. But at the end of the day, if you're an Oregon fan, that's how you want your quarterback room to look, right? An experienced quarterback, which you know what you're getting in Dillon Gabriel, and a really, really high upside young quarterback in Dante Moore coming through. Very exciting times to be an Oregon Ducks fan, and trust Dan Lanning. And Dan Lanning is one of those coaches that we all agree we're going to trust what he's doing on both sides of the football. Really, really exciting time. Wanted to hop on, talk a little bit about it. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.